The night was quiet, and the stars above shone like silver dust scattered across the endless sky. On the far edge of the colony, where the metal walls gave way to the dark desert, a teenage girl named Lena stood watching the horizon. She was 16, curious and restless, always looking for something beyond the boring routine of her small world. Her father worked in the mines, her mother repaired machines, but Lena wanted more. She wanted adventure. She wanted a story worth telling. That night, her wish came closer than she ever imagined. Far out in the dark sky, she spotted something drifting slowly, almost hidden among the stars. At first, she thought it was just another transport ship, but its shape was strange, broken, and silent. It looked abandoned, almost like a dead giant floating in space. Whispers had spread in the colony before about ghost ships left from old wars. Ships that carried secrets, treasures, and sometimes danger. Lena felt her heart race, because she knew she had to see it for herself. She waited until the colony lights dimmed and the patrols were quiet. Then, with nothing but a small shuttle borrowed from the repair docks, she slipped away into the night. The controls trembled under her hands, but she had learned enough from watching her mother work on ships. The shuttle crept through space like a shadow, closer and closer to the broken vessel. The alien ship loomed larger with every second, scarred by battles, its metal skin torn open in places. It looked both terrifying and beautiful, like a fallen beast from another world. Lena's shuttle docked with a broken hatch, and silence swallowed her as she stepped inside. Her flashlight cut through the darkness, showing endless corridors covered in dust and strange alien markings. The air was thin, the smell old and metallic, like something that had been forgotten for centuries. Each step echoed like a drum, and she felt the weight of the unknown pressing around her. Her mind told her to go back, but her heart pushed her forward. Something about this place called to her, as if it had been waiting. She wandered deeper into the ship, past collapsed walls and shattered glass chambers. Strange lights flickered on the edges of her vision, faint and ghostly. The deeper she went, the more she felt like she was not alone. Her breath quickened, her hands shook, but she refused to turn back. Finally, she reached a wide chamber that looked different from the rest. It was round, smooth, and in the center stood a tall structure like a pedestal. On it rested something she had never seen before. It was a suit, tall and armored, sleek like liquid metal shaped into the form of a warrior. Strange patterns glowed faintly across its surface, breathing like a living thing. It was not dead, not fully asleep, but resting, waiting. Lena stepped closer, her eyes wide with awe and fear. The suit was far too big for her, clearly made for someone larger, someone alien. But as she reached out her hand, the faint glow grew brighter. The air seemed to hum, and the silence turned into a soft whisper. Her heart pounded as her fingers brushed against the cold surface. The suit reacted instantly. Lights burst across the chamber, the floor shook, and the armor shifted like it was alive. A wave of energy ran through Lena, and she gasped, feeling heat rush into her chest. The suit opened, unfolding like wings, and before she could pull back, it latched onto her. She screamed, the sound swallowed by the metallic chamber. The armor wrapped around her body, piece by piece, fusing with her skin. Her flashlight fell to the floor, its light rolling across the ground as Lena struggled. Her vision blurred, her body trembled, and her voice broke into silence. Then suddenly it stopped. She fell to her knees, breathing hard, the suit now clinging to her like a second skin. Her hands glowed with strange symbols. Her vision sharpened, and she could hear every sound. The hum of the ship, the faint wind outside, even the beating of her own heart. She staggered to her feet, staring at her reflection in the broken glass nearby. The suit had reshaped itself to fit her body, smooth and perfect. It was like wearing power itself. But power was heavy, and with it came something else. Voices. A faint echo rang inside her mind, like someone speaking from far away. "Commander Varric," the voice whispered low and deep. Lena froze. Her lips trembled, because she realized the voice was not her own. Someone, or something, was inside the suit with her. She stumbled back, panic and wonder fighting inside her. The alien ship groaned around her, lights flickering to life, as if it, too, had awakened. For a moment, she wanted to rip the suit off, to escape before it was too late. But then she looked again at the reflection, at the glowing armor on her small frame. For the first time in her life, she did not look weak, she did not look ordinary. She looked unstoppable, and deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. Lena stood frozen in the chamber, her breath loud inside the helmet that had formed around her face. The alien suit hugged her body like it had been made for her, though she knew that was impossible. Her hands trembled as glowing blue lines danced across the armored surface, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. She wanted to tear it off, to run, to scream, but the suit was alive, and it wasn't letting go. A voice echoed in her mind again, calm but commanding. "You are not the commander," it said, "but the system has chosen you." Lena spun around, as if someone were standing behind her, but the chamber was empty. The sound came from inside her head. Her lips parted in fear. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "I am Varric," the voice replied, deep and steady, "the last commander of the Zorth fleet." Lena's knees felt weak, and she almost collapsed. She had no idea what a Zorth fleet was, but the weight in the voice told her it had once been something powerful. She pressed her hands against the armored chest plate, searching for seams, searching for any way to get out. The armor responded to her thoughts, shifting like liquid, and suddenly her helmet peeled back, vanishing into the rest of the suit. Cool air brushed her face, and she gasped with relief. The voice remained calm, patient, almost like a teacher. "The bond is complete," Varric said. "Your body has accepted the suit." Lena stumbled toward the wall, leaning on it for support. Her reflection stared back from a cracked panel of glass. The glowing alien armor reshaped to her size. She still looked like herself, but sharper, stronger. She was terrified and yet fascinated. "What do you want from me?" she asked, her voice rising. There was a pause before the answer came. "Survival," Varric said simply, "and war." Her chest tightened, and she shook her head. "I'm just a girl," she whispered. "I don't fight wars." But the suit pulsed, warm against her skin, and the AI's voice rumbled like thunder. "You do now." Suddenly the walls of the chamber lit up. Strange symbols glowed across the surface, alien script dancing like fire. The suit translated them instantly, the words burning in her mind. Status reports, warnings, maps of battles long lost. For a moment Lena was overwhelmed, clutching her head as the flood of knowledge pressed against her thoughts. Then the symbols faded, leaving only silence. She realized something terrifying. The suit wasn't just armor, it was alive, and it was teaching her. Her hands clenched, and the floor shook. The power was real, flowing through her like fire and ice at once. She raised her arm without thinking, and the suit responded, projecting a bright blade of light that hissed in the air. She stumbled back, nearly dropping it, but the weapon vanished the moment she thought of stopping. Her chest heaved, her eyes wide. She had power beyond anything she had imagined. But power always came with danger. A sound echoed through the corridor outside. Metal scraping, boots stomping, voices shouting. Lena's heart jumped in her throat. She hadn't been the only one who saw the derelict ship drifting in space. Scavengers had come, and they were armed. Her flashlight still lay on the floor, and its beam lit up the entryway just as 3 figures stepped into the chamber. They wore rough armor, their faces hidden by cracked helmets, their voices cold and greedy. "Well, look what we have here," one sneered, a girl playing dress-up with alien tech. Lena froze, her back against the pedestal. She was just 1 against 3, and they had weapons. The leader raised his blaster, the barrel glowing red. "Take it off, girl," he barked, "before you get hurt." Varric's voice thundered inside her mind, calm but commanding. They will kill you. They cannot allow you to leave alive. Lena shook her head, fear flooding her veins. I don't want to fight, she whispered, but her hands clenched anyway. The scavenger laughed, stepping closer. Too late for that. The blaster fired, a beam of searing light rushing straight toward her chest. Lena screamed, but the suit moved faster than she could. A shield of pure energy flared to life, the blast bouncing off harmlessly. The scavengers stumbled back in shock. She's synced with it, one shouted, impossible. Lena's breath came in ragged gasps. She felt the power inside her, begging to be unleashed. Her vision sharpened, and every detail slowed. The enemy's movements, the hum of their weapons, even the flicker of fear in their eyes. The suit guided her, whispering instructions. She raised her hand, and energy burst forward, slamming into the scavengers like a wave. They flew across the chamber, weapons clattering to the floor, groaning in pain. Silence followed, broken only by Lena's harsh breathing. Her hands shook as she looked down at what she had done. The scavengers were alive, but defeated. For the first time, she realized the truth. This suit didn't just give her power, it made her a weapon. And if she wasn't careful, it would change her forever. The chamber was silent, except for Lena's fast breathing. The scavengers groaned on the floor, their weapons scattered, their eyes wide with fear. She stood frozen, her glowing hands trembling, her heart beating so fast she thought it might break through her chest. She had not planned this. She had not wanted this. But the suit had taken over when danger came. It had protected her, but at the same time, it had pushed her into something she had never been before. A fighter. Varric's voice filled her mind again, calm but steady. You survived your first test, he said, but survival is never enough. Lena shook her head, her voice cracking. I don't want to kill anyone. The AI answered without hesitation. You did not kill, you restrained, you controlled, but next time they will not be so lucky. The words chilled her more than the battle itself. Her hands clenched as she looked down at the defeated scavengers. They were trying to push themselves up, grunting in pain. One of them met her eyes and spat. You think this makes you special, girl? Another coughed. People will come for you. For that armor, they will hunt you to the ends of space. Lena's stomach twisted. The scavengers were right. This was not a secret she could hide for long. Already her colony would notice she had taken a shuttle, and soon they would hear stories of a girl in alien armor. Fear and awe would spread like fire, and with it danger. She took a step back, unsure what to do, but the suit whispered a command. Move, now, Varric urged. Others will follow. More scavengers are near. The ship around her seemed to come alive. Lights flickered, corridors groaned. The faint hum of power ran through the walls. It was as if the suit's awakening had stirred the derelict vessel itself. Lena ran, her armored steps echoing loudly. The scavengers tried to crawl after her, but they were too weak, their voices fading behind her. She darted through the corridors, every twist and turn shown to her by glowing lines that appeared before her eyes. The suit was guiding her, mapping paths she could not have known. She moved faster than she thought possible, her body light, her strength endless. For a moment, she forgot her fear. For a moment, she felt unstoppable. But then she reached the outer hatch, and reality crashed back. Her small shuttle was still docked, waiting in silence. She climbed inside, her hands still shaking, and the armor adjusted itself, folding smoothly so she could fit into the pilot's seat. Her fingers hovered over the controls, but the suit overrode them. The shuttle launched itself away from the derelict ship, faster and cleaner than she had ever managed. Lena gasped. I can fly it myself. Varric's voice rumbled. You are inexperienced. You would waste precious seconds. Survival demands speed. The stars blurred as the shuttle raced back toward her colony. Lena sat in silence, staring at her reflection in the window. The glowing lines of the armor pulsed faintly, as if the suit were breathing with her. It had saved her life, yes, but it had also bound her to something larger than she could understand. She thought of her parents, her friends, her quiet life in the colony. Would they even recognize her now? Or would they see her as something dangerous, something alien? The shuttle docked at the colony hangar, and Lena quickly slipped out. She kept the helmet sealed, hiding her face. The hangar was mostly empty, only a few workers finishing repairs on transports. Still, she felt every eye could see her. Every shadow could whisper her secret. She hurried through the halls, her boots clicking softly. In the mirror of a polished door, she saw her armored figure and froze. She didn't look like Lena anymore. She looked like someone out of legend. A warrior. "Remove the suit," she whispered, but nothing happened. The armor clung to her like a second skin, glowing faintly under the dim lights. "Why won't it come off?" she asked in panic. Varric's voice was calm as always. "Because the bond is not broken. The suit is part of you now." Her breath caught, her eyes wide. "Part of me," the AI answered, "until death." Her mind spun with fear, but before she could speak again, a noise echoed down the hall. Voices, footsteps, people approaching. Lena darted into the shadows, pressing against the wall. 2 miners passed, laughing, carrying tools, unaware of her. But her heart pounded because she realized it was only a matter of time before someone saw her. And when they did, questions would follow, and danger would come. The suit spoke again, its voice heavy. "This was your first test, and you survived, but many more are coming. You must choose who you will be, Lena." Her lips trembled, her eyes burning. "I didn't choose this." Varric paused, then spoke with finality. "No one chooses war, it chooses you." Lena slipped back toward the edge of the colony, the shadows covering her glowing figure. She had no answers, no plan, only fear and power. And as the night stretched around her, she realized one terrible truth. Her life as an ordinary girl was over. The galaxy had found her, and it would never let her go. The colony slept quietly under the pale glow of distant stars, but Lena could not find rest. She hid in the empty canyons outside the settlement, the alien suit gleaming faintly in the dark. Her body felt both heavy and alive, the armor pulsing with a rhythm that matched her heart. She wanted to rip it off, to feel normal again, but no matter how she tried, the suit clung tighter. It was not just clothing, not just protection, it was part of her now. She stared at the ground, her thoughts racing, when the voice came again. Varric, calm, deep, impossible to ignore. "You seek answers," the commander said, "and you deserve them." Lena clenched her fists, her voice trembling. "You said you were a commander. Who were you really?" For a moment, there was silence, and then the world around her shifted. A projection burst to life before her eyes, the suit painting the air with light. She saw ships, massive, dark, sleek, flying in formation through space. Armies marching in rows, weapons glowing with power beyond anything human hands had built. And at the center of it all stood Varric, tall and broad, his alien armor glowing brighter than all the rest. "This was my fleet," he said, his voice echoing through the memory. "The Zorith ruled the outer stars, strong and proud, until the war came." Lena's breath caught as the images changed. She saw fire, planets burning, fleets destroyed, alien soldiers falling one by one. Dark ships unlike anything she had seen swept across the skies, their weapons tearing through worlds like paper. The Zorith fought, but they were pushed back, broken, shattered. Varric's voice grew heavier, each word carrying centuries of loss. "We stood against the Orith, an enemy born for conquest. They erased entire civilizations, one after another. We fought until the last of us fell." Lena swallowed hard, her throat dry. "And you," she whispered, "what happened to you?" The image shifted again, showing Varric standing alone on the deck of a dying ship. The walls burned, alarms screamed, and the last of his soldiers lay fallen around him. "I swore the enemy would never take my command suit," he said. I sealed myself inside it, and waited for a day when another could take the fight. Lena hugged her arms around herself, shivering though the night was warm. "You waited for me?" she asked, her voice cracking. The AI answered, "I waited for anyone worthy." The suit searched for strength, courage, and will. "You touched it, and it chose you." Her chest tightened. "But I'm not a soldier. I'm not a commander. I'm just a girl." The projection faded, leaving her alone with the voice in the still night. "Every commander starts as someone ordinary," Varric said. "The war makes them more." Lena sat down on a rock, burying her face in her hands. The truth weighed heavy on her. This armor wasn't a gift, it was a burden. If what Varric said was true, then the Orth were still out there, still hunting, still destroying, and now they would come for her. She thought of her family, of the colony, of her small, ordinary life. She wanted to protect them, but how could she? How could one girl stand against an enemy that had erased entire fleets? The suit pulsed again, warm against her skin, and Varric spoke. "You will not be alone. With the suit you carry the knowledge of the Zorith, their strategies, their weapons, their strength. Together we can stand." But Lena shook her head, tears stinging her eyes. "What if I fail? What if I make the wrong choice?" Varric's voice was steady. "Then humanity will fall as the Zorith did. But if you succeed, you will change the fate of your kind." A noise broke through the stillness, a low rumble carried by the wind. Lena froze, turning her head toward the colony. Lights flickered in the distance, followed by the faint thunder of engines. Her heart dropped, because she knew it was not a storm. The scavengers had returned, this time with more men, more ships, more weapons. They had followed her trail, and now they were here. Fear rushed through her, but so did something else. The suit responded to her racing heart, glowing brighter, energy humming under her skin. Varric's voice thundered with urgency. "Your choice is no longer tomorrow. It is now." Lena rose to her feet, the desert wind whipping against her. She looked toward the colony, where people she loved slept unaware of the danger racing toward them. Her hands shook, her lips trembled, but inside her chest something hardened. She was afraid, yes, but she could not turn away, not anymore. The suit formed the helmet around her face once more, sealing her in its glow. Her vision sharpened, the colony lights blazing clear even miles away. The scavenger ships landed like predators, their shadows spreading across the sand. Lena took a deep breath, steadying herself. The girl who once searched for adventure was gone. What stood in her place was something else, something the galaxy had not seen before. And as the first scavenger set foot on the ground, Lena whispered into the night, "If I have to fight, then I will fight." The night sky cracked with fire as scavenger ships roared down toward the colony. Engines screamed like beasts, sending dust and sand into the air. The people inside the settlement stirred in confusion. Alarms began to echo through the narrow streets. Most thought it was just another raid, something the guards could handle. But Lena knew better. They were not here for scrap or supplies. They were here for her. She crouched on a ridge of rock, the alien suit glowing faintly against the dark. Her eyes, sharpened by the armor, saw everything in perfect detail. The scavengers marched in squads, their weapons charged, their voices rough and eager. They had come prepared this time. Among them were not only humans, but also alien mercenaries, taller, stronger, their armor heavy and strange. Her heart raced, because she realized she could not run from this. If she fled, they would burn the colony to the ground. If she stayed hidden, her family would die. The choice was no longer hers. It had already been made. Varric's voice rumbled in her mind, steady and sharp. "This is the second test," he said. "They know the suit is alive. They will not stop until it is theirs. You must fight." Lena swallowed hard, her throat dry. "What if I lose?" The AI's reply was cold as steel. "Then your people lose with you." She rose slowly, the desert wind sweeping around her. The suit responded to her will, plates shifting, energy humming like a storm inside her chest. She leapt from the ridge, landing silently on the outskirts of the colony. Every step she took was faster, lighter, her fear burning into fire. The scavengers did not see her at first, but when she stepped into the glow of the streetlights, they froze. A young girl, glowing in alien armor, standing against them all. The leader laughed. A cruel sound, so the stories were true, he sneered. A little girl wearing a god's armor. His men raised their weapons, ready to fire. Varric's voice cut through her panic. Do not hesitate, they will not. The first blaster shot screamed toward her. The suit reacted instantly, raising a shimmering shield that absorbed the blast. Lena gasped at the impact, but the armor held strong. She moved before she even thought, her hand raised, sending a pulse of energy that knocked two scavengers flat. The battle erupted. Gunfire lit the streets. Explosions shook the ground. The colony guards tried to fight, but they were outnumbered, overwhelmed. Lena moved among them like lightning, her suit turning every attack into defense, every strike into power. She blocked a blade with her arm, the metal shattering like glass. She kicked another enemy back, her strength throwing him across the street. The scavengers shouted in fear now, realizing she was not just a girl. She was something more, but the mercenaries pressed harder. One of them, a towering alien with skin like stone, swung a heavy plasma hammer. The blow crashed against her shield, throwing her back into a wall. Pain shot through her chest, her breath ripped away. She groaned, struggling to rise, and for the first time she felt the weight of the armor draining her. It fed on her strength, and every move cost her more. Varric's voice thundered. Focus, Lena. The suit is powerful, but it will break you if you resist it. Her vision blurred, but she forced herself up. The alien came at her again, hammer raised. She thought of her parents, her home, the people screaming in the streets. Something inside her snapped. The suit responded, glowing brighter than ever. Her hands burned with power, and when she struck, it was not a shield this time, but a blade of pure energy. She slashed across the air, the blade cutting through the alien's hammer and sending him crashing to the ground. The scavengers faltered, their confidence crumbling. Whispers of fear spread through them. She's unstoppable, one muttered. But Lena felt her body shaking, her muscles burning, the weight of the suit pressing down harder. She stumbled, nearly falling. Varric's voice echoed. Your strength fuels the armor. If you waste it in fear, you will fall. But if you trust it, you will rise. She clenched her fists, forcing her breathing steady. The suit pulsed, not draining but flowing, the energy moving with her instead of against her. She darted forward, faster than before, weaving between blasts, striking with precision. Every movement felt natural, like the armor and her body were one. Enemies fell one by one, their weapons shattered, their courage broken. The mercenaries retreated first, dragging their wounded away. The scavengers followed, shouting curses but running into the night. The colony streets fell silent except for the crackle of burning wreckage. Guards and civilians peeked from hiding, their eyes wide with fear and awe. They had seen her, the girl in alien armor, standing alone against an army. Lena lowered her hands, her chest heaving, sweat dripping inside the helmet. She wanted to collapse, but she forced herself to stand tall, because she knew every eye was on her now, and none of them saw a girl anymore. They saw a weapon, a savior, or maybe a curse. The suit dimmed, its glow softening. Varric's voice filled her mind, calm but heavy. You unlocked more tonight than I expected. Abilities even I did not use, the bond grows. Lena staggered, her voice weak. What's happening to me? The AI answered with a weight that chilled her. You are becoming what the galaxy feared most, a human with the power of a commander. Lena looked at the people staring at her, some whispering, some kneeling, some afraid. She felt no pride, only the weight of what was to come. The scavengers would return, stronger, and the Orth would not be far behind. She had won tonight, but she also knew the truth. This was only the beginning of the hunt. The colony had survived the raid, but it was no longer the same. Shadows of smoke drifted through the streets, walls cracked, and the ground was littered with broken weapons. Families huddled together, whispering about the girl in glowing armor. Some spoke of her as a savior, others as a curse. And Lena, the girl at the center of it all, stood in silence, hidden at the edge of the settlement. Her helmet folded back, and the cool night air touched her face. Her hands shook as she looked at the glowing suit that refused to leave her body. It had saved her, yes, but it had also trapped her. She could never be normal again, never walk through the colony as just Lena. Every glance would carry fear or hope, and neither felt like freedom. Varric's voice stirred inside her mind, calm and unyielding. "You see now," he said, "the world has changed for you. The suit does not let you return to what you were." Lena pressed her fingers into her temples, her voice breaking. "I didn't ask for this. I don't want this." The AI answered without pity. "No one wants war, but war comes, and when it does, you must decide, do you hide or do you stand?" Her chest tightened, her thoughts racing. She thought of her parents, of their tired faces, of how they struggled every day to provide. She thought of her friends, laughing in the quiet corners of the colony, dreaming of small futures. And then she thought of the scavengers, of their weapons burning the streets, of their promise that others would come. If she walked away, if she hid, they would suffer, they would die. But if she fought, then her life would never again belong to her. The following days were filled with whispers. The council of the colony gathered, their voices sharp, divided. Some argued to thank Lena, to let her protect them. Others demanded she surrender, that the armor was too dangerous, too alien. Fear spread faster than gratitude, and Lena could feel it whenever she walked. Eyes followed her, some filled with awe, others with suspicion. She was no longer invisible. She was a symbol, and symbols carried weight. One evening, as she sat near the broken ridge outside the colony, her mother found her. Her mother's eyes were tired, but they held warmth. "Lena," she whispered, touching her daughter's armored hand. "Is it true? Are you the one who fought them off?" Lena looked away, tears burning. "I didn't want the suit. It chose me. It won't let me go." Her mother's voice shook, but it was steady with love. "You've always wanted something greater. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is your path." Lena's throat tightened. "But what if it destroys me?" Her mother pulled her close, armor and all. "Then you fight to make sure it doesn't." That night, Lena stood alone under the stars, her decision pressing on her chest like a weight. Varric spoke again, his tone quieter, almost respectful. "The Orith will come. They always come. You cannot change that, but you can choose how humanity meets them, with fear or with fire." She closed her eyes, her fists clenching. Fear screamed inside her, but there was something stronger beneath it, a stubbornness, a will that had always burned in her heart. She had always wanted to escape the small life the colony offered. Now, she realized escape meant responsibility, not freedom. She opened her eyes, and the suit glowed brighter, answering her choice before she even spoke it. "I won't run," she whispered, her voice steady for the first time. "I'll fight. I'll protect them, even if it breaks me." Varric's voice resonated with approval. "Then we begin." The days that followed were not quiet. Lena trained under the guidance of the AI. The suit revealed new functions each time. Blades of light, wings of energy that carried her across cliffs, shields that wrapped entire groups of people. Her body ached, her muscles screamed, but she pushed forward. She stumbled, fell, bled, but each time she rose again stronger. The colony watched from a distance, unsure if they were seeing the birth of a hero or the rise of something dangerous. One night, as she rested, Varric shared more. He told her of ancient strategies, of wars fought not with numbers, but with willpower. He taught her how to move not like a child, but like a commander. And though she was still young, still human, she felt herself changing, not losing who she was, but becoming something more. Yet deep inside, fear lingered, because every time the armor pulsed, Every time the AI whispered in her thoughts, she wondered, was she still Lena, or was she becoming a shadow of Commander Varric? Would the galaxy remember her as a girl who rose to fight, or as a weapon that burned too bright? Still, when the sun rose again, she stood, her choice clear. She was no longer running. The girl who once dreamed of adventure was gone. In her place stood a protector, a warrior, and perhaps the only hope her people had left. The dawn came heavy with silence. The colony lay tense, families gathering what little they could, children hiding behind walls, guards standing nervously at their posts. Everyone felt it, the weight in the air, the storm that was about to break. Lena stood at the edge of the settlement, the alien suit glowing faintly, as if it already knew what was coming. Her body ached from days of training, but her spirit was sharper than it had ever been. Varric's voice hummed in her mind, steady as stone. "The Orith are close," he said. "I feel the signal, their ships are moving, they have sensed the suit." Lena swallowed hard, staring into the endless sky. She had heard of them only in fragments, from Varric's memories, from whispers of old battles. But now they were not legends. They were real, and they were coming for her. The ground trembled, and shadows fell over the colony. The first Orith ships descended, black and sharp like claws tearing through the sky. Their weapons glowed, casting crimson light across the desert. Panic erupted, people screaming, guards shouting, alarms wailing. Lena stepped forward, her heart pounding, but her feet steady. This was no longer a test, no longer training, this was war. The Orith soldiers poured from the ships, tall and armored in jagged black steel. Their voices hissed like serpents, their movements precise. They carried weapons that hummed with deadly power. And in the center of their ranks stood a commander, his presence radiating menace. He raised his blade and pointed directly at Lena. "The human child," he hissed, his voice carried by some alien speaker. "Give us the suit, and your colony may live." Lena felt every eye on her, fear and hope mixing in the faces of her people. Her body trembled, but she lifted her chin. Her voice came steady, stronger than she felt inside. "If you want it," she said, "come take it." The battlefield erupted. Blasters screamed. Explosions tore through the ground. The colony shook under the force of the assault. Lena moved faster than thought, her suit reacting with perfect precision. She blocked beams with her shield, deflected strikes with her glowing blade. Each movement was guided by Varric's voice, but powered by her own will. The Orith pressed hard, their numbers endless, but she struck back, every blow cutting through their lines. Still, the fight wore on, and the suit drained her. Her legs burned, her lungs screamed for air, her vision blurred. The Orith commander advanced, each strike heavier, each blow forcing her back. For a moment, she faltered, and fear clawed in her chest. But then she remembered her mother's words, her colony's faces, the children hiding behind the walls. She was not just fighting for herself. She was fighting for all of them. Her heart roared, and the suit answered. It blazed with light brighter than fire, energy pouring from her body like a storm. The commander swung his blade, but she caught it with her bare hand, the armor glowing white-hot. She twisted, shattered the weapon, and slammed him into the ground. The Orith ranks faltered, their leader broken, their courage slipping. Lena rose above them, her armor glowing like a star, her voice carrying across the battlefield. "You will not take this world," she cried, "not while I stand." Power surged, more than she thought she could hold. Wings of light burst from her back, and she leapt into the air. From above, she unleashed the full might of the suit, beams of energy crashing into the enemy ranks, scattering them like leaves in a storm. The Orith broke, retreating toward their ships, dragging their wounded, their cries sharp with rage and disbelief. They had come for a child, but they had met something else, something unstoppable. Silence fell as the last ship pulled away, vanishing into the sky. The battlefield lay in ruins, smoke rising, but the colony still stood. People stepped out slowly, staring at Lena. Some dropped to their knees, some whispered prayers, some simply stared in awe. But Lena did not feel like a goddess or a savior. She was just a girl, standing in the ashes of a battle she never asked for. Her helmet folded back, her face pale, her eyes tired, but her voice steady. "They'll come again," she said softly, "but we'll be ready." Varric's voice echoed in her mind, heavy with pride. "You are not the commander I once was. You are something new, something greater." Lena lifted her head, staring at the stars. Her life as an ordinary girl was over, but something stronger had been born. The galaxy had tried to crush her, but instead it had awakened her. And as long as she stood, Huma,